Hello everyone, it is TIJ. Welcome to Football Manager 2019 Team Guide. Today is the turn of Wolverhampton Wanderers, who have obviously just come up from the Championship after having a fantastic season under Nuno Espirito Santo, and they have got a very good squad full of a range of nationalities, but in particular Portuguese, Spanish and English players. So before we go any further, let's have a look at the squad that they've got. Now, one of the big additions to the Wolves squad over the summer, I feel, was Rui Patricio, which is a player that a lot of clubs were looking at in terms of the top clubs, the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, in previous years. And Wolves managed to get him on a free, albeit that they've got to pay some sort of compensation to Sporting Lisbon. But what a fantastic signing he is, 30 years of age. He's certainly an upgrade on their previous goalkeeper, John Ruddy, who, to be fair, would have still been a decent player in the Premier League. He's a leading player for Championship sides, but certainly would have been able to cope, I would say, in the Premier League. He's played in the Premier League before. That's Rui Patricio, not John Ruddy. I don't think John Ruddy's played for Sporting. He's played in the Premier League before for Norwich for a few seasons, as well as Everton, actually. I didn't realise he was at Everton before he went to Norwich. They've also brought in a few other players. Let's have a look at their new signings and transfer obligations. Now, João Moutinho has come in from AS Monaco, which again is a fantastic signing. £5 million, and he'll very much be a holding midfielder. He's got plenty of experience in the likes of the Champions League with Monaco, Porto and Sporting. I mean, it's quite a career to go from Sporting, Porto, Monaco, then to Wolves, and it's clear that Wolves have had a very successful summer and have brought in some fantastic names, the likes of Diogo Jota, who again was brilliant for the club last year, and Leo Bolletini, who have both come in after being on loan at the club last year. Ruben Vinagre's also coming from Monaco on the left. He looks like a good player in the future, but very much a youth prospect. And Leander Dendoncker has come in. He's on loan from Anderlecht, but he will join the club on a permanent deal next year, and he looks good as well. So you can't look past the players that Wolves have signed, and I think that you're going to struggle to sign any more players because I think that Wolves have very much, in real life, probably got more power than they have in Football Manager, I'd probably say. But they've got rid of a few players as well. Benny Kofobi has gone to Stoke, which really, Benny Kofobi is a Premier League player. I don't really know. I don't probably think he is, but it would be a good fit at Stoke, nonetheless. But let's have a look at the dynamics of Wolverhampton Wanderers, shall we? So just coming from the Championships, it's going to be quite weird to see how they get on. Now, this is the first team guide I've done that they've only got 2 team leaders. It seems like quite a small squad, but I'm guessing it'll be quite a tight-knit one. There's a big core social group. Again, a lot of Portuguese players in there, as well as Willy Bolly, who's French. But you've got the English players in this one: Ruddy, Cody, Doherty, Ryan Bennett and Dominic Iorfa. There's a few other players in 2 other social groups. You've got the Spanish players. So you have got a real struggle. You've got a real struggle between the English players, Portuguese players and the Spanish players at the club. But nonetheless, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But at the moment, we've got 2 team leaders, Conor Cody and João Moutinho. Conor Cody is the captain of the team. And of course, João Moutinho, with plenty of experience, has gone up there straight away. New signing Patricio is also a highly influential player. With Cavalero's been there. I think he only joined the club last year. No, he's been at the club for 2 years now. So Cavallero is in the highly influential players, as well as Matt Doherty, who's been there pretty much his whole career, I think. He's been there since he joined on an undisclosed free from Bohemian in Ireland. As well as Ruben Neves, who's in fact the vice-captain now, and he's got a lot of potential coming from Porto. Again, a player that a lot of big clubs are looking at. So I think if you look at it on paper, the signings that Wolves have made have been absolutely fantastic. Next, on to tactics. Let's have a look what tactic I've gone for. I've gone for the tactic that Wolves apparently use in real life, and that's a 5-4-1, I suppose you could call it, or 5-3-2, or 5-2-2-1, or however you want to phrase it. But at the back, we've got Rui Patricio in goal with 3 central defenders. I always find that having 3 central defenders is better because, as my good friend Captain Goodspeed has always told me, having ball-playing defenders is always asking for trouble. So we've gone with 3 central defenders. We've gone with Matt Doherty and Ruben Vinagre at wing-back automatic. It allows them on the automatic role to be able to push forward and go back when needed. Not up front yet, blimey, we're going a bit quickly. But Ruben Neves and João Moutinho take up the midfield. That's a fantastic midfield. With a few rotational options on the bench, you've got Roman Sace, who can come in. He's not the best midfielder and possibly might push back the defensive midfield, because that's really where his forte is. But we'll pop him back in midfield. Obviously, Neves can come back into the squad. And then on the wings, we've got Adama Traore, who's just joined the club as well from Middlesbrough for 18 million. He looks like a good player, as well as Diogo Jota on the left wing. And Raul Jimenez, who's on loan from Benfica, as he's going to be up front. He's got plenty of experience as Raul Jimenez. And genuinely, I don't mean this lightly, he could be a really good Premier League striker because, a big club could come in from Jimenez and he could be treated as a big striker. So the signings that Wolves have made this season have been no less than fantastic. But there's a decent amount of depth on the bench, and quite a bit of depth going onto the bench. And you've also got Ivan Cavallero, who's injured at the moment. He is out. How long is he out for? 3 to 7 weeks, so it shouldn't matter too much. But there's plenty of rotational options on the bench, but there is definitely room for improvement. The likes of, we've got left back that lacks a bit of quality depth. If you look at the formation we're playing, we've not particularly got the most in terms of left backs, although actually you've got central midfield. Bear in mind this is potential ability. There's not many players with glowing potential abilities, and there's 3 I've picked out from the youth squad in Wolves that could definitely be a good player for you in the future. The first one is John Ketelano from Norway. Now, very interesting player this is. He's got a current ability of 2 stars. He's joined the club this year from Odd in Norway. What an odd name. I'm funny, aren't I? But he seems like a low-risk signing, £250,000, very much sought out by the youth team at Wolves, I'm guessing. But he's got a current ability of 2 stars, with potential ability as high as 4.5 stars, and could be a really good star player. But at least he's going to be 3.5 stars, maybe even 3 stars if he really underperforms. So he's definitely going to be able to come into that squad, and as long as he's trained well over the years, he's in fact already the second best centre-backs. Possibly send him out on loan for a year. I don't quite know what you plan to do. But I think getting him to the squad early and getting him used to first-team football would definitely be a good thing to do. Also, another player who is well-renowned at Wolves being a good youth prospect is Morgan Gibbs-White. He's been at Wolves all of his career. He's an English homegrown player, and he played a few games in the Championship for Wolves last year. So he's already got a bit of first-team experience, and he's really an attacking midfield in the centre. So possibly in some games that you might look to dominate, I don't know, you might put one of the midfielders in attack, even though that just leave a gap in the midfield. But possibly you could go, I don't know, to 2 at the back and put an attacking midfielder there. Possibly you could, but I think that Morgan Gibbs-White could fit into the squad quite nicely. He's still, you know, pretty much about the same ability as that left back we just looked at, Ketelano. But he's got a very good potential as well. Again, very well suited to Championship football. So possibly sending out on loan might be a good idea. But he's got the potential to be a really good Premier League midfielder in the future. Again, we've got Bright Enobaka, I presume his name is. I don't really know how to pronounce that whatsoever. But he's Nigerian, a little bit older, 20 years old. And again, he's very similar. His current ability is 2 stars. So he's still, you know, all of these players are already a decent rating for the senior team. But their potential abilities are about 3 or 4 stars, and they can definitely be a good start for the team. His work rate's not the best, but the likes of his aggression, acceleration, pace, finishing and dribbling are decent stats, and his technique's very good as well. And he's more of an attacking midfielder, but also he's natural up front. He's got a bit of versatility about him, and can also play on the right wing with some, you know, he's not natural there, but he's definitely accomplished on the right wing. So let's have a look at transfers you could bring in. If we don't want to play these players from the internal squad, you've still got a decent transfer budget of 19.3 million. I've only picked out 2 players that are young that could potentially come into the team. The first one is Birger Meling, who is 23 years old. He currently plays for Rosenborg in the Norwegian League. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. But he looks very good. He's already had 7 caps for Norway, no international goals, and 6 under-21 caps. But the interesting bit here is that we've got Huddersfield interested, Chelsea and Watford. So it's clear that all around the Premier League there's definitely some interest. And with Chelsea interested, I feel like that could possibly be a player that looks good for the future. And he's also got Champions League experience, it looks like, this year with Rosenborg in the Norwegian League. Secondly, we go to Denmark, and we have Magnus Kofod, who has been at Nordsjælland, is that? For the last 4 years. He's got plenty of experience, as you can see, from last season in the league. And he's quite young, he's 18, and again, I feel like he could possibly be another Gibbs-White if he comes to the club. He doesn't play as an attacking midfielder, but very much a central midfield role. And he should be quite cheap for his value, £600,000. So potentially a few million, and it could be a good bargain for you. So I feel like Wolves could continue their cheap transfer business, but I think in terms of bringing the big names into the club now, you might struggle. Finally, have a quick look at training, which I don't really look at training because I've only just got the game, but we're going to have a look at the mental attributes of players to see how they'll get on in training. Now, the one worry is John Ruddy, whose work rate is quite poor. Is his determination any good? Actually, though, his determination, pardon me, makes up for it. But we've got a good squad of players who have decent work rates and decent determinations, but we have some players down here who haven't got the best determination. The likes of Costa, who's only got 12 work rate and 12 determination. But if players aren't doing too well in training, that, as I understand, you can just go into the training, criticise the training, and just say, look, you're not doing very well. And depending on their determination and work rate, they'll improve or not. And you can use the mentoring, this little mentoring bit here, to improve the abilities of players. You know, the likes of Gibbs-White could potentially learn from another attacking midfielder in the squad. So we could have, if we go into current ability and we change that, can we change that to, no, we can't change that to an attacking midfielder. So we're just going to go all positions. So we could have João Moutinho, who can sort of play there, potentially training the likes of Gibbs White, maybe even some of the younger players, the likes of Neves, who is only 21. But I think there's a lot of potential for opportunity of mentoring in this squad, because if you look at the ages of players, it is very varying if we can actually get onto the general info bit. There we go, we've got quite a variance in the age of players. I mean, a lot of these players are under the age of 25, so you could have the likes of Neves, Dendoncker, and Cody potentially being mentored by Moutinho. And again, you've got John Ruddy, who could potentially mentor some of the goalkeepers down in this division. So we've got Rory Brown, we've got Will Norris, Harry Burgoyne, who can also come into the club. And as you can see, there's a hell of a lot of players. Kitolano and Gibbs White and Enoch Harborough, or whatever his name is, has been pointed out there. But the likes of Rafa Mir, Niall Ennis, Harry Burgoyne are still very good youth prospects. And in the under-18s, there's a few players with good youth prospects as well. But that's going to be it, folks, for today's Team Guide. I hope you guys have learned something from this video, and I hope it's been effective in teaching you about the squad, incoming transfers, dynamics, tactics, and the transfers that you could make in this Wolves squad, or even promote some of the younger players. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to check out the other Team Guides on my channel. But until the next time, folks, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.